Hey guys, happy afternoon yoga session. So, the day is coming to an end, and now we must chill and enjoy this incredible yoga session that I have planned for you squash players. So, first and foremost, supplies. Can everyone please go get a pillow? Two pillows, my bad. This is my pillow. It's actually on the thin side. If you have something thicker, even better. And then, second, can you get some sort of a blanket or a towel? And as you go into your worlds and get your supplies, I will fill your brains with wonderful knowledge. So, for those of you who already have this stuff at your fingertips, today, as I mentioned, we're doing yoga, and we're not just doing any plain old yoga, although at the same time, there's so many forms of yoga, and I don't think any of it is plain. Today, we're doing yin yoga. Yin yoga is a style of yoga that actually works at relaxing and stretching and creating more elastin within your fascia. So instead, people think that yin yoga, because what we're essentially going to be doing is coming into a stretching pose and trying to relax into this stretching pose, and it'll make you feel like you're really stretching your muscles. What we're actually doing after we hold that pose for longer than 90 seconds is working into the fascia, the connective tissue, which envelops your organs and your muscles and all of that connective tissue. The way that we're going to work it and make it even better is that it will begin to relax and become more elastic. And this will make things such as sitting or moving or really anything in our lives feel even better. I'm a big fan of yin yoga. Okay, so I'm sort of counting that everybody is here, and you heard my little spiel about yin yoga. Another heads up, in our session together, I am going to bring you into every pose, and I will be modeling that pose for you, but then I might be sitting up and talking you through the pose a little bit, so try not to really pay attention to the screen past seeing me come into the pose, and then just really bring yourself inward, perhaps close the eyes, and I will be constantly reminding you to pay attention to your breath. So, to begin, please take your blanket or your towel, and you're going to fold it so it's roughly this size. And I'm going to take my long end, which is, I'd say, like 2 feet wide. It's fine if it's 3 feet wide, if it's a bigger blanket. And then what you're going to do is you're going to roll it up like a little burrito. So you have your little burrito, and then I want you to take your little burrito, and you're going to place your burrito off to the side, just like that, and then move everything off. I'm going to start up some sweet yoga tunes of my choosing. Okay. From here, take a seat. Bring your burrito right up to your tailbone and keep holding it right there as you slowly lower down. If the lights in your space are not dimmed or down, I'd highly recommend asking somebody to dim them for you. Or in between the next pose, you'll have time to get up and do that for yourself. First and foremost, just bring your attention to your breath. With your breath, try not to change anything about it. Just become aware of the pace and the energy of your inhales and your exhales. Now let's begin to lengthen the breath ever so slightly. Be gentle in this process. Breathing in through the nose. Breathing out through the nose. Deep, long inhale. Deep exhale. Now on your exhales, I want you to begin to imagine letting the day go. Any stress, any negative thoughts, feelings, feelings or emotions, recognizing them on your inhale, and on the exhale, letting them go. Coming to understand that this moment right here, right now, is what will serve you best and bring all of your attention to your breath. This moment right here, right now. Inhale and exhale. And slowly bend your knees. Place your feet on the floor. Lift the right arm up and roll to the right side. And just relax on your right side for a few breaths. Roll onto your tummy. Move your blanket off to the side. And we're going to come into a relaxing shoulder stretch. We're going to extend your right arm out. So I'll show you from this angle so we all get it right. The right arm is out to the side. Your left palm is just directly underneath your left shoulder. You're going to bring your right cheek all the way down to the ground. And then right palm pressing down, left palm pressing into the ground, roll onto the right side of the body, and extend your left leg back behind you. This might feel quite intense, and if so, just take it easy. The left foot might take its time to lower down to the ground. And if this feels less intense, just enjoy. And again, wherever you are, just keeping all of your focus on your breath. Breathing in and breathing out to release any tension in the mind and the body. And slowly move back to the belly. Continue with the right arm extended, just bend at the elbow so you have a right angle on the right arm, and come back into the same position for a deeper shoulder stretch. Bring your focus to your breath. Inhale air and space. Exhale tension in the body and the mind. Inhale, space. Exhale, tension. palm back to the belly. And just take a moment, cross your palms, lower the head, and just take a moment. Other side. Left arm extends out to your left. Right palm down underneath the shoulder. And then from here, left cheek down. And roll onto the left side, extending the right leg back behind. And again, in this position, just really trying to keep your mind on the breath as much as possible. Breathing in air and space. Exhaling any tension from the mind and the body. The mind will, of course, wander, and you'll think of other things. And I definitely recommend just treating your mind like your favorite pet. For me, it's a dog. And just gently, gently on the leash, pull your dog back to your side. And keep your focus on the dog by your side. Same with your breath. If it wanders slightly away, just gently pull it back with love. Inhale, exhale. And come back through center. Nice and easy. Bend at that left elbow, make a right angle. Press again into your right palm. Twist, left cheek down onto the left side of the body. Should feel a lot more intense in that shoulder girdle. And just breathe into any tension. Breathing in a nice smooth inhale. And on the exhale, let it go. Breathe in. And let the exhale wash the tension out of the body. If your muscles are twitching, it's a very normal thing. Just breathe through it, and if anything feels too intense at any point, of course, just please be smart and back off. Coming back through center. And gently push back into child's pose. For child's pose, we're going to bring the knees really nice and wide and then melt the forehead down. So with knees wide, you perhaps feel an opening through the groin area, inner thigh area already. If not, just relax and release. Keeping the breath consistent and deep. Slowly come up onto the elbows, progressing into frog. In frog, we're going to bring the knees as wide as possible. The hips are lifted. Toes can be together or they can be apart. I strongly encourage you to keep toes together. And then slowly begin to come back. If you're on a hard floor, please, of course, put your blanket or your towel in front of you. And then from here, we're going to come down onto our elbows. If this already feels really intense, what you're going to do is take a pillow and put it one under your chest and then one under your forehead, or perhaps two under your chest. What you ideally want is to make sure that you have some support so you can relax. So as I'm doing, take your props so that you can actually be here and you can breathe into it. If you're super duper open in the hips, then you may not need any props, and just sink and melt your heart and your cheek or your forehead down into the floor. Feel free to close the eyes and breathe. Noticing the increased ease of the pose with a lengthened breath. If you have one cheek to the floor, switch sides, left cheek down.
So this is goodbye. This is goodbye.
Coming back through center. I hope you enjoyed that one as much as I did. We're going to move back into our chest and our shoulders. You're going to bring your two pillows next to each other. And then from here, you're going to, in fact, bring them right next to each other. And you're going to bring your elbows down into the middle of the pillows. Your palms are together in prayer. Walk your knees back and look down at your knees. Make sure that they're directly below the hips, if not slightly in front of them. And then you're going to tuck your head as far off the pillows as possible, ideally forehead touching into the floor. So ideally your forehead tucks in front of the pillows and is touching the floor. If that doesn't happen for you, that's fine. The point here is to melt the chest down in towards the earth, opening up through the chest and the shoulders. Keep the arms straight. I'll give a progression as we go. With every exhale, thinking about melting the chest deeper down in towards the ground. Either stay here if this feels intense for you. If not, press your palms together and begin to extend the fingertips up towards the sky, keeping the elbows down. closer your elbows are to each other, the more challenging this is on the shoulders. Continue to breathe out and release the chest down. Release the hands and come back into child's pose for a few breaths. Arms coming back towards the feet. Rise. Okay, coming into our final two lower body poses. First focusing on the inner thighs and then moving into the outer thighs. So we're first going to work on inner, and you have two options. One option is against a wall, if you have a solid wall right around you, and the other option is on the floor. I'm first going to show you the wall option because I'm going to stay in the floor option. Wall option is to come sit right next to the wall. So my right hip is pressing against the wall. I'm going to lie back, and then I'm going to bring my legs up the wall so that my seat is pressing against the wall. And then from there, I'm going to let my legs melt open and stay in this position, and slowly my feet will begin to lower down progressively towards the earth. If you're in this position and you're happy and you have a wall, please stay here. If not, come join me on the floor, and you're going to take your props. And so for your props, I highly recommend having, depending on how tight you are, first and foremost, just in general, having everything available to you. And what we want is eventually to come into a forward fold position, but where we're supported. So first and foremost, just pull the flesh away from your sit bones, and then create your really comfy little station here for your wide-legged forward bend. So this feels good to me. I hope you're in a good spot too. If not, please feel free to move around until you find your spot. But then eventually, please commit to your pose and find stillness in your pose. Breathing in, breathing out. Try to relax your entire body. Try to relax your jaw, face, arms, fingers, shoulders. Just breathing in and breathing out. Deep, even breaths. Watching the breath with intention and care. Please switch. If you're one side of your head is down, switch to the other side. And continuing to breathe and relaxing through the pose. Breathing in, breathing out. If you're against the wall, start to bring your legs back together. And roll onto your side. And then let's all meet back up in our space. And please make sure to have 2 pillows stacked. We're going to release our hip flexors before we move into our final leg pose. To release our hip flexors, you're going to be seated on the front edge of your pillow, leaning back, and then hug the right knee into the chest. In fact, I like to move slightly further back and hug the right knee into the chest and extend the left leg long. So I'm further back so that my left leg is actually slightly off of the ground. And then just holding that right knee strongly into the chest. So we're actually using quite a bit of yang here. Obviously we have yin and we have yang. This is yin yoga. Release. Yang is more muscle work, working the body as opposed to relaxing and releasing the body. And then let's come into the other side. Hugging that left knee strongly into the chest. Right thigh pressing down, releasing down. Okay, let's go ahead and place both feet down and roll off to one side and push up. And let's get prepared for pigeon pose. For pigeon pose, we're going to again need the blanket or the towel. And you're going to take it into its original position and create that lovely little burrito. Okay, so once you have your burrito, you're going to place it down. Have your pillows very handy in front of you. And then from here, you're going to come into pigeon. So for pigeon pose, we have our right side we're going to start with. And so in this pose, I have my right knee forward, and then the shin is on the floor in front of me, the foot in front. So for me, I'm not overly flexible in my hips. And so therefore, my shin is not at a complete right angle. It's on about a 45-degree angle. So you have to judge what feels best for you. What I really like is using this blanket or towel, which is, I'll show you from the other view, directly behind my body. And it helps keep my foot in place, and it also provides a cushion for my body. Now from here, if your right hip is off of the floor, you're going to place a cushion underneath your right hip. So you really want to provide support for the body to be able to relax and open. And then from here, you can have the other cushion in front of you, and then you're going to release. And I'm going to make sure that we'll be here for 90 seconds per side. So make sure that you can release and supremely relax into this position, although it may feel quite intense, which is normal. Try and use the breath as your tool to relax deeper into it. Deep inhale. Deep exhale. As you relax into the pose, you might be able to take a prop or two away. Judge for it yourself. feel any discomfort in your right knee, please prop the hips up even higher. Slowly begin to make your way back up onto your forearms and your hands, and remove the pillow from the right hip, and then you're going to lift out and come back into down dog. Feel free to bend one knee and the other, just washing it out. Then when you're ready, bring the left knee forward. The shin goes in front of your blanket or your towel. And then we're going to set up in the same way as before. So if you have space between your hip and the floor, please go ahead and place that cushion under. And then coming onto your forearms. If you had the right cheek down on the previous pose, please bring left cheek down. And then just begin to make your way down into a melting position, using these props as tools to support your body relax even further. Focusing on the breath, breathing in, breathing out.
It's all written and it's all said. Think the moon is on its way.
Continue in your pose.
None of you sounds so low.
Breathing in, breathing out. And coming up onto the forearms, and then the hands, moving the pillow out from the hip, pressing into the palms, come back into down dog. Coming down onto the knees. Time for final relaxation, Shavasana. We're going to do a yin pose. For Shavasana today, opening up through the heart and the chest. Definitely make sure your lights are off by now. So for our chest opener, you're going to go ahead and bring the towel or blanket about 2 inches away from your back, and then you're going to melt down. And then from here, let the legs splay wide. Let the arms come wide. If anything is in your way, please try and shoosh it off to the side. Technical word, shoosh. And then again, just breathe and relax and melt into this pose. Please feel free to let the breath just completely surrender. No need to bring any special awareness to the breath at this time. Just let it be. Notice the support of the earth underneath your body. rising up to allow it to relax deeper and further. The toes, the ankles, the calves completely relaxed. The kneecaps, thighs, hamstrings, hips, glutes, completely relaxed and melting down. The abdominals, back, shoulder, completely relaxed. The upper arms, lower bottoms, fingertips, relaxed. The neck, jaw, forehead, completely released and relaxed. Let everything relax. Let's go ahead and begin to bring our awareness back to our breath. How does it feel? What is the quality of the breath? And begin to wiggle the fingers and the toes. And slowly bring one knee at a time up into the air, soles of the feet down on the ground. Extend the right arm up and roll off to your right side. Then come up into a seated position. And just sit tall for a moment in your seated position and close your eyes. And just take a moment to become aware of how the body feels, how the mind feels. Trying to bring this sense of peace and calm throughout the rest of your day. Bring your hands together. Thank you all for joining me. Thank yourself for joining you in this practice of relaxing our bodies and our minds. Namaste. Good job, everyone. See you tomorrow.